This is gonna be funny. All right, so today we got a treat for you. Jason went to the hobby store and tell us what you did.
I bought a new timber. I had the original timber 1.5 meter, and I saw that Horizon had come out, or E-Flite had come out with the new turbo timber, and it's basically the same plane. They made the nose a little more slender to look like it's a turbo prop, which is cool. They put a 3-blade prop on it, and they made it 3S and 4S capable. So it looks like it's got a little more power, a little more flight time probably. I brought the original timber out today so we can fly it. But what I did is I bought it at the hobby shop. At the hobby shop I went to, they do an inspection of the kit, make sure everything's there. They open the box. But that's the only time the box has been open. I charged up 4 or 5 batteries last night to be ready to go, but we're going to build it here at the field, prove that it truly is bind and fly. You can buy it on the way to the field, build it and fly it as long as you have your batteries ready to go.
Excellent.
And figured we'd take a look at it. The original one's been one of my favorite planes since we did the review on it 2 or 3 years ago now.
Yeah, I know, yeah, because it's been a couple of years. So yeah, you've been flying that thing.
And I take it anytime there's a possibility to do float flying. We did a video on that earlier, actually.
We got photos, of that coming off the water. I think we used for a cover.
Yeah, it was on the cover, and ever since then it hasn't come off the floats. Any chance I get to take it out to a lake and fly it when we're taking the boat out or the local park.
And we just happen to have a lake over there right now.
One of the awesome features of the Marks Club here in San Bernardino is part of the year they do have a lake as long as we get some rain, and we can float fly down there. So we'll go ahead and put it on the landing gear, do a flight or two. We've got Matt here from X-Hover with his drones. He's going to do some air-to-air video for us.
Nice.
And then we'll take it down to the water with the original timber and do some side-by-side and do some comparison.
Cool. All right, well, let's break it open.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, so it comes with the manual, which we're just not even going to unwrap. All right, go on and get a stand. I'm not going to touch it because it's his plane, so I'm just going to leave it alone because he's pretty particular about that kind of stuff. That all fixed.
Yeah, okay. All right, so props on. So now all we're going to do is go follow the manual, program the radio. Step by step, it's really pretty easy, and we're going to fly it.
All right, let's do it.
All right. All right, so first thing you want to do is start with a new model. So we're going to go into our model settings here. Long press. I'm going to go up here to the top right. We're going to say add a new model. And we're going to say default template is fine. And it's going to be an airplane. So now we have a blank acro model being created. It's going to take a second to create. Now, one thing they recommend is resetting your model. So I always go in, even once it's created, and reset it. So by selecting it, we go in, we go back to the same 3 dots up here, and we say reset model. That ensures that it's completely blank. So if you already had an acro model that was blank, you just run the reset just to make sure everything's back to factory defaults. Just takes a couple seconds to ensure. Once that's done, it comes back here. We can name our model. Then you say you're done. Everything else here stays the same. You could put less channels on your monitor, but there's no reason. We're going to back out of here, and we're going to go into our turbo timber. We're going to back out here. Now we should be on the turbo timber. Okay, so we're on there. Now, the instruction manual has instructions for all the different radios that are out there. So if you have a DXE, you would refer to Spectrum RC for appropriate download. They have a download for it. DX6i, we're using the IX12, so we're going to come down here. We're going to follow these settings. So really easy. First thing we want to do is we want to go into System Setup or Model Utilities, which is going to be Model Setup. We're going to set the model type to airplane, which we already have, but we're just going to double check that. Proceed here. Okay, it is set up as an airplane. And we're going to go in here, aircraft type. We're going to say one aileron, one flap for the wing. One aileron, one flap. Select that. Done deal. Then we back out. We're going to go in here. We're just going to make sure there's no model type in here. Make sure I wasn't missing something there. We made sure the model type was what it needed to be when we created the model. So then we got our wing type. Next, we're going to go to the function list, which is model adjust on the IX-12. So we're going to exit out of model setup, go to model adjust. Okay. And we're going to set the flap system. Flap system. Once it goes in there, we want to select our switch. Now it says to set it as switch D, which is this switch here. I really like my flaps, especially since I don't have the safe select set up. I like my flaps up here, a little easier for the way I hold the radio. So all you have to do is click the switch select and toggle that switch, and now it selects it for you. It's on switch B where I like it. Okay, so position 0 is zero flap, 0 elevator. As you can see here, it's got all the settings you need. Then we're going to scroll down here to position 1. We're going to set our flap to, we're going to go back to position 0. It's going to be 100% flap. So we're going to go here, drag it all the way up to 100%, scroll down. Nothing on the elevator on that one. Next we go to position 1, which is going to be 0 flap with 16% elevator. So by clicking here, we can get it roughly where we want it to be because it's pretty sensitive on the sliders. There we go, and then just use your plus and minus. Whichever one's highlighted in orange is the one you're adjusting with the plus and minus keys. Get it to the 16% like recommended here. Then we're going to scroll down to position 2, and we're going to be negative 100% on the flap. So negative 100 on the flap, and we're going to be 30% on the elevator. So by going up here, we're going to go to, oh, I actually got it right on, that's rare. So there, now we're done. It says to set the speed to 2, which is 2 seconds transition time for the movement. So we're going to drag this up here. And again, you get it close as you can. 2, there we go. And we're done. And you say, okay. And your plane is ready to fly. Now, with the AS3X systems, I can't tell you how many times someone has brought one of these planes to the field. They've set this up. They've decided they want to do something different in the radio, and they go change things. You can't do that with the AS3X system. The AS3X system does all the computing in the receiver. So set these settings and fly it. It does mention you can change your expo and such, which on the Timber isn't going to be a big deal, but you can change expo, but that's about it. You don't want to change your centering. You don't want to change any of those other things. Just set it like these steps say and go fly. Let's set it right on the taxi over there. I'll taxi it up. Right off the bat, taxi's nice and straight. Everything seems pretty good. Tail wheel seems to work well. We're not going to go too far down here because I don't think it's going to take us much to get off the ground. Good authority on the tail. This does have AS3X, so it should correct itself pretty good. And here we go. A little bit of right rudder. And we're airborne. About half throttle there. There we go. Pull the flaps up. And we're flying. Ready for a stall takeoff, John? What? Yes. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. I didn't even think it was the length of the fuselage. That's awesome. coming into land. I've run this thing for 10 minutes now.
Minute.
All right, so success. We brought this out, or you brought this out, put it together, and flew it. So what do you think of the flight?
I think it's awesome. We put 3 flights on it. I brought 6 batteries, but I got the original timber. We're gonna go fly off the lake here for a minute. But you know, the improvement with the 4S is really nice. Still retains the nice slow flight with the flaps on. We got some great air-to-air with Matt from X-Hover. We got a little bit of a battle scar here. I'm sure we'll slow that down and show that in the video. But you know, overall, just a great flying plane.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably going to move the aileron control horns in to get a little more aileron control because rolls are a little bit slow. But it's not designed. It's not an aerobatic airplane. The AS3X does a great job. It's a little breezy out here today. It slows down and lands extremely slow. Takes off in, I'm guessing, maybe 2 feet. I don't even think the wheels made one full rotation.
Yeah, the wheels just hardly rolled.
So yeah, we'll definitely we'll make sure all the video's good, get it up there. And I think next time out we gotta let you fly, get you flying.
Whoa, look at you talking crazy now.
I'm getting scary. So no, awesome airplane.
Awesome.
E-Flite did a great job. I love these foam planes for just.
Keep in mind, he just programmed in what they said to program
Exactly.
in, and flew it with that, and it was almost dead on.
Yep, the flap to elevator mixing is perfect. The controls were perfect. I trimmed the ailerons because they looked a little off, but the AS3X handled it. So I actually ended up going back to my center trim. So I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, we literally brought it out, built it in maybe, what, half hour at most, put the battery in.
Well, we'll definitely have a timer on it while we're doing it.
Yeah, and we're flying, and it's a great plane. So if you're looking for something that's nice and fun to fly, got the floats if you want to take it to the lake. I definitely recommend the Turbo Timber.
Now, the one thing I think that we did notice that when we went over there is that when you're going to bind it before you put it
Before you put the wing on, because the receiver is under the wing. There are 2 ways to bind it. If you want the safe select, which is the learning mode, which limits your bank and your climb, you put the bind plug in, power it up, pull the bind plug out, then bind your radio. No. I didn't want the safe select. If I ever decide to train someone to fly with this, I'll enable it. But in order to do that, you put the bind plug in, power it up, bind your radio, then pull your bind plug. And that's all outlined in the instructions.
Yeah.
So
that's what you're going to do next week when you let me fly.
Exactly. I'm going to put safe select on for John. We call that John safe select.
John safe. And that's not a guarantee either.
That's true. That's true.
So, all right, well, there it is. We took this out. We had a blast with it. Great plane. Maybe next week we'll do a little bit on the floats, putting the floats on, how it handles on the floats and in the water. Yeah. And other than that, you're going to have a blast with it.
Yeah, we'll put the floats on it and fly it with the original one and put them side by side, see how they do.
There you go.
Cool.
There it is. All right. We'll be back soon.
All the time.
Hey, guys.
Just a little bit. Yeah, you.
Just you two. I know, huh? Both of them are working today.
Where do we need to start again?
I don't know. We got to cut that out.
You think? All right.
So anyway, yeah, you're talking about we got photos.